Hi, what I'm going to talk to you about now and show you now is the process I went through to create the report that I placed into the assignment. And you're seeing that report in front of you on the screen. And we'll take a look at how I broke the report into a main section by agent, subsection by listings, created the subtotals for each of the agent sections, how I put these red lines in here, and how I created the grand totals at the bottom. So let's first build a report using the report wizard. Right now we're looking at reports over here. We're looking at this particular report. We'll create a second one from the tables that exist. And I clicked on report wizard here. I know that for this report I'm first going to need agent information. So I'm going to bring up the agent table, and I've looked at this and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need all 5 of these fields, and other than agent ID, but I'll bring everything over. And the other table I'm going to need is going to be fields from the listing table. And I've done this before, so I know I need all the fields except for the last 5. The quickest way to do that is to bring everything over, and then from the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, move the last 5 back, and then select next. I want the report sorted first by agent and then by listing. That's what it's showing me here. I don't need to change anything. You can play with that if you want to see what happens. I click next. I don't need to do any other groupings. Again, you can play with this if you want to see what's going to happen, but I'm going to leave the default and click next. And the assignment does not ask you to sort the listings in any particular way. I could sort them here. I've got some ways of sorting them later in design view, but I'll leave that blank. It would be intuitive to try to create your summary options here. If you do that in the report wizard, it's going to make this a summary report rather than show you individual data. So let's do that later rather than trying to create it here. I'll click on next. And the view that we're looking at is pretty similar to a stepped view. It actually is a stepped view. So you can try blocked view, you can try outline view, you can generate the report to see what they look like. You're going to want stepped. And we do want to get this down to about 8 inches for a page. If we leave this checked, it's going to I know because I've done this a couple times, it's going to leave all the detail listing fields off to the right outside of view. And if we uncheck this, then hopefully we get, well, we're going to have a wider report. We're going to be able to see everything, and then we have to make the report narrower. You can go either way on this. You're going to need to do a little bit of moving around of fields either way. Let's leave it checked this time. If you can't find your fields and you don't know what to do because you can't find the fields, you go build it again the other way, and you'll find the fields. So I basically took the defaults all the way through here. We'll let it call this report agents 1 because I already have an agents report, and we'll preview it before we do anything else. So it's creating it, and let's make it a little narrower so we can see our target, creating something like the Reality Bites report and what it looks like right now. And right now we can see each of the agent pieces of information. We see the header fields once, and we want to get the header above each agent's name. We need an adjustment there. We don't have the red lines here. We've got these banded gray and white lines, and we're not seeing, as I mentioned, we're not seeing any of the data, any of the listing data. It actually is there. It's just off to the right side of the screen. This report was cut at 8 inches for one page, and all that data is sitting over an inch 10, 11, 12, 13. So we'll have to go into design view or layout view and move that over. And let's do that at this point. So again, we can move the fields in layout view. And if I scroll over now, well, there's all the fields in layout view. But I think it's going to be a little clearer to work in design view than in layout view. So let's close the property sheet. Let's go into design view. Now the fields are way off to the right. I'll make this wider so we can get at that. And there's a bunch of things I want to do here. Let's go back and look at that again. So I need to, well, I really don't have anything going on with page header. So I want to get all these labels out of my page header. I want to get the labels for the agents in with the agent header, in with those actual agent values. So you get a label and then the field, down here label and then the field. So I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to tighten up the page header, and then each detail line that's way off to the right, I'm going to have to bring that over to the left. And there is in fact a page footer down here that has the date in it. That's what now gives us is the date, and a page number, which may be way, yeah, there it is, way off over to the right. So we'll clean all that up. So to do that, let's just get a little more space to work with. Let's, and you saw, you did this yourself, or you saw me do this with the form. I'm going to make the header area a little bit deeper. I am going to, I actually don't need the detail area a little deeper. Let's grab all the fields in the detail area. I'm just holding the cursor down, putting it over the fields to mark the fields, and I'm going to grab one of the fields and push it all to the left. And it still is taking up almost 13 inches, but most of these fields are much wider than they need be. Taxes is not going to be in the trillions of dollars. Listing price is not going to be in the trillions of dollars. So I can make, bathroom is going to be less than 10, so I only need one digit. Same thing with bedroom, I only need one digit. And square feet, maybe a little less. You get the idea. Stories are, it's only a 3-story house at most. Zip code is not going to be a 12 or 15-digit zip code. State is only going to be 2 characters. So I start bringing all these down by that. Listing number is only going to be a couple of digits. And once again, if I mark them, I don't know that I needed to mark that. But for what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Layout View. And one of my choices in Layout View, oh, it's already moved them over to the left. One of my choices in Layout View is to grab this stuff here and format, and well, there's my alternate row color that I can turn off. That takes care of that. I wanted to move everything over to the left here. Can I do that? Well, not from there. Maybe I can do that in Design View. Let's take a look and see if I can do that in Design View from Arrange. Yeah, control margins, control padding, size, space. Yeah, let's see, we'll bring that to fit. Yeah, that didn't do it. I'm now playing with some stuff I've never played with before. I just got curious here. Oh, here's what I want. I want stack tabular. Nah, I was seeing this before, but I'm not seeing it now. I thought I would have something that would just push it all over for me. Stack tabular. There we go. Oh, but it made it back wide again. All right, I can undo. And I just want to push left. Wow, when we were in reports, I saw something that just pushed it left. Don't see it now. Equal space, equal vertical, decrease vertical. I can decrease horizontal. There we go. But that just set them equal and decrease. That doesn't. I'll bring them all left. I could align left, but that's going to, oh, align left may work here. There we go. All right, so I got everything left as far as it'll go. And that took way longer than we wanted it to take. And now I've got the labels for all that up here in the page header. And let me grab them and bring them down and over to the left. And of course, I've got the same issue here. These are all wider than I really need them to be. And I'm not going to take the time to do all this, but you're basically just going to scrunch these up and push them to the left. We'll get a couple of them done here, and we'll just see a few of them scrunched to the left. And now that I know what I'm doing, grab them all and align to the left. Yeah, see in PowerPoint, that'll just put them on top of one another, but Access is smart enough not to do that. And let's take a look at this in Form View, and it's still not going to be report view. It's still not going to be exactly what we want, and we're going to have to allow for a little more spacing on some of these, but we now have it all. It's going to all fit in one page for us. And we've got, well, we don't have the labels for the agents showing up with each agent, so we need to move that down but we do have labels for the listings showing up above each listing. We still have the agents banded. Notice I took out the banding for the listings, but the agents, every other agent is banded a different color. So we'll go back in and we'll clean that up. And that was under alternate row, but the way I go to do that is I go to, let's see, that was agents. I go here. How do I not get? I thought I'd get that there, but it doesn't want to let me do it. We're going to go to properties box then, the same way we did that in forms. I thought that if I grab the agent fields, it would let me turn that off, but it does not. So the way we're going to get at that, double click here on let's see, it's going to be this header. There we go. I had to click on the background, not onto a field. So the background of the header. Now I can turn off alternate row color. Now what I just did is I created everything is white in the background. The next thing I want to do is I want to get these labels for the agents to show up with each agent. To do that, let's give myself just a little bit more height to work with here. I'm going to take these fields, I'm going to take these fields just in the agent header area, and I'm going to push them down. I want to push those down as far as they will go. I want to bring those a little bit closer, maybe just a little bit closer, and maybe a little farther over to the left. And then I'm going to take these label fields and move them down here and put them just above. And you'll see now that the report now has the agent information just above the actual agent data. And what I did on the other report here is I created these horizontal red lines to set everything off, and that's pretty easy to do in design view. We have a line drawing tool here, and what we'll do is we'll just grab that and make a horizontal line. Being careful to line that up exactly horizontal, and I can control thickness under format here. In shape outline, I can control line thickness. I'm going to make it thicker than I made it on the other report, and we can control color. I'm going to make it purple today. And since I want two of them, one above, one below the agent, what I can do here, I could create two separate ones, but I can also do a copy and a paste. And there's my second one, and I'll just grab that second one, bring it down to where I want it. And this will look something like the actual report view. Yeah, we're getting closer. Intentionally, thicker purple, but we're getting closer. So we've got some of the labeling to clean up here. I mean, colors darker, line it up, create a little more space between some of these fields. It looks like the square feet is being stepped on here. We're going to have to allow that a bit more space. But we've got the basics. What we don't have are these subtotals. So let's work on, I'm going to let you clean it up. You don't need me to step it through that at this point probably, but I am going to show you the subtotals. I'm going to do that from design view. In design view, I want to point your attention, I'm in design view and I'm on the design tab in design view. And there's a choice up in the upper left called group and sort. When I click on it, it's going to open a window at the bottom of the screen. And in this window, now I can, as you can imagine, I can create groupings. I can sort within a grouping alphabetically or high to low numerically, and I can create totals and subtotal fields. And that's what I'm going to use it for, the totals and subtotal fields. And we can see the report is already organized to be grouped on agent ID. So each agent has the listings within them, and that's fine. That's what I want. I'm going to click on the More button here, and now it gives me some new choices. And the choice I'm interested in is the totals choice. Right now there is no totaling going on. I also want to point out to you before I start doing this, there's an agent ID header, but there's no agent ID footer below detail. That we get each agent, we get all the detail listing records. We don't have a footer for them, and we're going to create a footer. We also don't have a report footer. I can drag this down and get one, but there is no report footer. We're going to create one. The other thing I want to show you before I go and do that, I want to bring up the property sheet for a moment. Double click in the background. I want to show you that while we have the agent ID header, agent ID footer, I believe, already exists. Let's see. Agent ID header, and there's a group header, and the group header is probably just the generic version of that. And do we have a group footer here? Maybe not until I thought maybe we could get in there this way, but maybe not until we actually create it and have something going on with it. All right. So we'll leave that up for a moment here. We'll come back and focus where I was on totals. I'll click the down arrow and it starts giving us some choices. Well, what we want, if you go back and look at the picture of the report and the assignment, we want the number of listings for each agent. We want the percentage of that agent's listings to the total agency. We want the dollar value summed up, added up of all their listings, and selling price, and then again a percentage. Let's just work here on the listing count. So for each agent ID, what we're interested in is counting the number of records that exist for each agent ID. The number of listing records is what it's going to be. And we want to show the subtotal in the group footer. That creates, I clicked on that, it created an agent ID footer here. And it almost certainly then created an agent ID, or at least a group footer. There we go. There's the group footer now that wasn't there before, that we can now go in and play with properties on if we want to. I'm going to close the property sheet now that I've shown you that. So what we have at this point, just in doing what I did, we have now the count of listings. And I'm going to go to report view for a second. There's going to be a number here, no label yet, but you can see 5 listings, 3 listings, 5 listings. So we got that count in place. It's banded. The first one is white, the second one is gray. We'll have to turn that banding off if we want it off. I actually didn't get that right here. I left that banding on. It looks like I didn't mean to, but it looks like I guess you could leave the banding on because I did. Let's go back to design view. So it's easy enough to create a label for that. I'll move that over. The count is only going to be 1 digit or 2 digits, and place my label here and call that listings. And I could take some time and clean that up, but let's just get that out there quickly for you to see. So now we have something that looks like looks like our subtotal. The other thing that we want to do here is let's see, go back to the more, because I went and did that without really being complete here. So we've got agent ID, count values. We also want to show the group subtotal as a percent of the grand total. And we weren't really counting values, we're counting records again. That's what we were doing there, is counting records. And let's see, so, and in fact, if you leave the values, you're going to get percentages that are very, very small, less than 1%. And that's because the values, it's the listing 26, listing 17, it's adding up all those numbers. But we want to count how many listings there were. So we've got that, and we're going to show the group subtotal as a percent of the grand total. It created something there for us. And we're also showing the grand total down here. Because when we're showing it as percent of the grand total, we also get the grand total. And it's those 3, and that's really what we needed. So down here is the grand total of listings that the agency has. And we can give that a label. Total listings. Move that label to the left there. And here's our percentage. I'm going to make this larger so you can see the calculation it's doing. It's counting the number of listings for this agent divided by the total agents. I don't know exactly where it grabs the D1 from. I guess we could figure that out. But it is the total. It's basically this number here. Now it just listed a count there, but it's this number, and that is the divisor and the whatever you call it, the top thing, the numerator, whatever you call it, is the count. And we'll give that a label, percent of all listings, which isn't the label I used, but it gets us a label to see. And let's plug that in. Come on, move up for me. Go, move, oops, and we'll move that over a little to the left. We will bring that up a little, and let's see what we've got. So now we have listings, 3% of all listings. It's way over here, but it's 10%, 16%. Those are, in fact, the correct numbers. I remember those numbers. We go back to the top of this other report, 16.7, 10%. Third one is 16.7. So we have the correct numbers in here. And then at the very bottom, we have total listings 30. Now it's way over to the right because that variable, I had a very wide field for. I want to make it narrower and it will get close. I haven't done the dollar sales for you, but it's the same logic. And this is basically what you need to know to get your report done. I will stop here, and good luck with the report. If you have questions, ask them on the discussion board.